If you've ever come back from Europe thinking, why did no one tell me that before I went? This video is for you. Europe is incredible, but it is very different from how we're used to traveling in the US. The mistakes people make aren't big, dramatic ones. They're small, they're sneaky, expensive, and uncomfortable ones that can kind of add up fast. Things like getting charged more for your carry-on than your flight, showing up dressed in a way that instantly labels you as a tourist, not realizing museums can get sold out weeks in advance, or finding out the hard way that public bathrooms aren't free. These are the real mistakes that first-timers and honestly even sometimes repeat travelers make. So here are 15 things to avoid so your trip feels smooth, affordable, and way more local. First, let's talk about airline luggage restrictions because budget airlines are ruthless. If you are flying within Europe on a budget airline, this is where people get burned immediately. Airlines like Ryanair, EasyJet, and Wizz Air do not play around when it comes to baggage. A carry-on is never included, ever. You will pay for it, and sometimes that carry-on actually costs more than the actual plane ticket that you just bought. The smartest move is traveling only with a personal item that fits under your seat. That's it. No roller bag, no overhead bin. If you want to save serious money, this is the hack. And if you want to see the exact $30 personal item backpack that I use and how I pack it efficiently for Europe, check out the video all about that I'll link below. It will save you a surprising amount of money, but of course, if that's not possible for you, I get it. Just make sure that you know the exact dimensions of what they allow for a carry-on and how much it's going to cost per flight you're taking because it really will add up. This one surprises Americans the most: dress code and looking like a tourist instantly. In many parts of Europe, people dress very put together, very neutral, very understated, loud athleisure, gym shorts, graphic tees, baseball caps. They immediately signal tourists and most likely American tourists, and that matters more than you think. It can make you a target for pickpockets, it can change the way that you're treated in restaurants and in shops, and it can make you feel out of place in nicer cities. Europeans don't really dress for comfort the way that Americans do. They dress more to look polished. If you want a full breakdown of what not to pack and what instantly gives you away, I have an entire video called 10 Things Americans Bring to Europe That Scream Tourist, so that will help you blend in effortlessly. Now let's talk about misunderstanding shoulder season or thinking that it's off season. People hear shoulder season and think that it's completely empty streets, no lines, really cheap prices, and that's not what shoulder season means in Europe. Shoulder season is actually one of the most popular times to travel because everyone else has the same idea. April, May, September, October, they're all beautiful, but they are still busy. Hotels are still pricey, attractions still sell out, restaurants still need reservations sometimes. The weather is usually great. It's not some secret quiet time. The real benefit is slightly fewer crowds than peak summer and more comfortable temperatures. So plan for it like you would plan summer travel. Book ahead, expect people, and don't assume that you'll just be able to show up and walk into things. Now let's talk about not learning a few words of the local language. You do not need to be fluent, of course, but 5 words changes everything. Hello, please, thank you, excuse me, and do you speak English? Starting a conversation in the local language is seen as respectful, and you'll immediately notice a difference in how people respond to you. Europeans don't expect perfection, they expect effort. So walking up and speaking English immediately is one of the fastest ways to come off as inconsiderate. This tiny effort makes interaction smoother in restaurants, shops, train stations, and hotels. It's a small thing that goes a long way. Now let's talk about assuming everyone takes cards and not carrying any local currency or cash. Europe is not as card friendly as the US. Small cafes, bakeries, taxis, markets, and public restrooms often only take cash, and sometimes there is a minimum for cards if they do accept cards. So always carry some local currency, even if it's just the equivalent of like 40 USD, just enough to kind of save you in those situations. The mistake people make is landing, going straight into the city, and then realizing they can't pay for something as simple as like coffee or going to the bathroom. Having cash avoids all of that awkwardness, and don't get me wrong, Europe is a lot more card friendly than it was when I first studied abroad 10 years ago in Barcelona. It was pretty much only cash back then. I'd say for the most part you will be okay, especially in big cities, just using card, but it's always best to have some euros or local currency just in case you do need something from a small vendor or doesn't accept cards, or if you're doing something unique like going to Christmas markets, because all of those Christmas market stalls usually only accept cash as well. Next is not understanding public transportation before arriving. Public transportation in Europe is amazing, but only if you understand it before you land. Figuring it out while jet jet lagged with luggage in a new language can be very stressful. So look up how to get from the airport to your hotel before you go. Download the local transit app. Understand if you need to validate your tickets beforehand. Know whether or not you're using buses, trams, metros. This one little bit of prep makes you feel confident instead of feeling overwhelmed the moment that you arrive. If you're going to a major European city, I bet there's even a YouTube video out there showing you exactly how to read the public transportation map, get on, get off, get a ticket, all that fun stuff. I mean, I have a step-by-step video on how to use the tube in London, and just watching a video like that before your trip will make you feel way less overwhelmed when you're getting off the plane, you're super tired, and you kind of just have no idea where to go or how to get to your hotel. This next one always shocks Americans, expecting free public bathrooms everywhere. Public bathrooms in Europe pretty much always cost money. It's usually about 1 to 2 euros, so you're probably gonna need coins, which goes back to my point a few minutes ago of just having some cash just in case, because you really never know. Train stations, city centers, and tourist areas pretty much always charge a small fee. Cafes and restaurants usually only allow customers to use the restroom, so planning for this and keeping a bunch of coins on you just kind of saves you from that uncomfortable scramble when you really have to go to the bathroom. And another pro tip, if you are looking for a bathroom, don't ask someone, where's the bathroom or where's the restroom, because that's a very American term. You can just straight up ask like, where's the toilet or where's the WC, and people will point you in the right direction. Next is eating only near major tourist landmarks. One of the easiest ways to waste money and have a disappointing meal in Europe is eating right next to major landmarks. Restaurants directly beside famous attractions survive on foot traffic, obviously, not quality. So you'll usually pay more for food that is rushed, less authentic, and geared more towards tourists rather than the locals. The menus are usually translated into multiple languages with photos out front, and that's your sign. The better food is just a few streets away where locals actually eat. So before you go, save restaurants in your map or walk, 5 to 10 minutes away from that main tourist attraction. This small move dramatically improves your food experience and usually cuts your bill in half. Next up is something that's gotten me a few times, booking museum tickets in advance. Many of Europe's most famous museums and attractions sell out days or honestly even sometimes weeks in advance, especially during spring, summer, and fall, so almost year round. Places like the Louvre, the Vatican, and Sagrada Familia do not operate like casual walk-up attractions. Travelers usually assume that they can just show up and buy a ticket, only to find out the next available entry is days later. So booking ahead online guarantees your entry time and saves you from wasting a few hours in line or honestly missing the experience completely. This is especially important during shoulder season when crowds are still very high, but people expect the crowds to not be as high. And honestly, a lot of times online prices are cheaper than at the door. The only con, which is why I got caught a few times with this one, is I don't really like booking stuff far in advance because I don't really know what part of the city I'm going to be exploring in that day, or I don't really want to limit my time from something else to rush because I have this reservation. So I totally get why you do it. I've done it too, but it's better than not getting to see the attraction altogether because it gets sold out. Now let's talk about ordering water without specifying. In the US, water automatically is free and comes without asking, and you don't really have to think of like what type of water do I want, because typically we're all just drinking still water. In Europe, this is not the case. If you simply ask for water, you will almost always be brought still or sparkling water in a bottle, and then you will be charged for it, sometimes more than you expect. If you want free water, you need to specifically ask for tap water. In some countries, it's called tap. In others, you may say like a carafe of water. If you don't say this clearly, you'll end up paying for bottled water at every meal without realizing why the bill keeps climbing. Now let's talk about forgetting about Sunday closures. In many European countries, especially Germany, Austria, and Switzerland, Sundays are true rest days. Grocery stores, pharmacies, shops, and even many restaurants are completely closed. Travelers are usually caught off guard when they arrive somewhere on a Sunday and they just can't buy snacks, they can't buy toiletries, basic necessities. The only places usually open are train stations, airports, and a few tourist area restaurants. Plan ahead by picking up anything that you may need on a Saturday. This is a cultural norm, it's not a holiday, and it happens every single week. Next is not understanding city taxes on hotel. This one feels sneaky because you don't see it when you're booking. It's usually a part of the very small fine print print that no one reads. Many European cities charge a nightly tourist or city tax per person that is paid directly to the hotel at checkout. So it's not included in the price that you saw online, and it might be a few euros per night, but over several nights and multiple people, it really does add up sometimes. Travelers are often surprised when their final bill is a lot higher than they expected, so knowing this ahead of time helps you budget correctly and avoids confusion when it's time to leave. Next, we have ignoring pickpocket hotspots and bag safety. Pickpocketing is real in major European cities, especially in crowded tourist areas, public transport, and train stations. It's quiet, fast, and you won't even realize it happened until way later. So crossbody bags, zippers, keeping your phone out of back pockets, and being aware in crowded areas makes a big difference. The goal isn't to be paranoid, of course, it's just to not look like an easy target, which is why the point I talked about earlier is super important. If you're wearing an I Heart New York baseball hat, leggings, and running shoes, walking around talking super loud in English on the train, you will be spotted immediately and probably targeted. So you want to blend in with your clothes and your voice volume so people don't look to target you for pickpocketing. Now let's talk about not checking passport validity rules or visa requirements. This is a trip-ending mistake. Many European countries require that your passport be valid for at least 6 months beyond your travel dates. Some travelers get to the airport and are denied boarding because of this. Others forget to check visa requirements depending on how long that they're staying. This takes 5 minutes to check and can save an entire trip. As Americans, sometimes we forget that we even have to do that because we are really lucky. For the most part, we are able to travel visa-free to most countries. But even if a place doesn't require an official visa, in recent years, a thing called an electronic travel authorization, or an ETA, has become a lot more common for Americans. The UK just implemented it last year for Americans. Australia and New Zealand have had it for a few years. So it's super easy. You fill out this form online and you pay a cheap fee. It's usually like 15 bucks or something. And you're usually approved in minutes. So honestly, it's just a way to make more money off of you. But if you don't have it, you won't be able to board your flight. So it's a simple thing, but it is really important. So just always double check your passport and any entry requirements that passport may need. Now let's talk about the most expensive mistake on this list: roaming charges or not sorting out your phone data before landing. If you land in Europe or anywhere outside of your home country for that matter, and turn on your phone without a plan, you will have insanely high roaming charges on your next phone bill, because basically how it works is right when you turn your phone on, your phone is just trying to connect immediately to the nearest wireless provider source, and that source is not your carrier since obviously it doesn't exist in that country. The smart move is setting up an eSIM or international data plan before you leave. I have a full video explaining exactly how to use your phone abroad, what settings to change, how to avoid all of this confusion. So check that out before your trip, so when you land, you're just connected and you're stress-free. Europe is incredible, but it rewards travelers who do a tiny bit of preparation. These aren't big mistakes. They're just little ones that, might cost you a little bit of money, a little bit of time, some comfort. So avoid these and your trip feels smoother, cheaper, and way more local. If you want to go even deeper, check out my videos on packing light, avoiding tourist outfits, and how to use your phone abroad so you're completely ready to go.